first pick vein in the very next match. Now we're getting into picks and bans for game 2 against OMG versus Masters. OMG did take game number 1. We've already got LeBlanc banned away from Dade once again. Shui taken off of that Gragas. Very, very standard bans.
Didn't slow him down, though. He had a fantastic game on Lee Sin. Kind of failed the first gank, but stayed true to his stats.
He definitely had a lot of presence around the map. And the fact that he was just potent, the fact that he was available for Uzi whenever Uzi made some funky plays, worked out. Kalista taken away from SMLZ.
Here's the thing that we haven't really talked about. So we've kind of beaten to death the fact of, who are OMG, who they are, how they're interacting together and things like that. Masters 3, because it's kind of the big question mark. We've talked about disjointed rosters. You talked about how Masters 3 did go through some couple changes. Condi in particular. Candy has been replaced from SMLZ, and that's the player that I really wanted to talk about. SMLZ, he was handpicked on World Elite Academy to be the protege of the famous Wei Xiao, possibly one of the greatest AD carries to ever play the game of World Elite. So, hasn't quite lived up to that reputation.
He was playing pretty solid in his previous game, despite being shut down pretty effectively by Uzi and consistent pressure from Shui and teleport plays from Xiang. So, he was able to keep pace with Uzi, and that's definitely not something that can be disregarded at any sort of slight. We do have Xiang opting for first pick Maokai.
And again, super expected. We've seen Xiang play the heck around, but mostly it goes back to the Maokai. He's kind of put his role there as he's a tank role play meta kind of player. Maokai, very easy to play, and if you think the fact that he is doing a lane swap, I mean, Xiang has done 3 lane swaps. He's originally started out as a mid laner, big Syndra player, moved down into support, played Morgana, and now he's in the top lane with Maokai.
Yeah, and I love this Condi looking at Nunu, the very aggressive jungle and really sort of global map presence bully, aided with the movement speed from Janna. That's a scary match.
So now it's going to be a question of what Shui is going to pick. Is he going to go back to his Lee Sin? It's a little bit, I'm not going to say dangerous to pick Lee Sin into Nunu, but it can be a little bit frustrating just because there's really nothing you can do to stop Nunu from walking into your jungle and just taking all of your buffs. Ooh, the immediate Corki lock-in.
Yeah, Uzi opting for cool once again, and that's going to be amazing back on Nautilus. So an identical lane in the bottom side as OMG opt to save their last picks for Xiang, Shui and Cool, but Uzi going back to Quirky.
I mean, they've effectively gone back to exactly what their comp was the last time. All they needed is a Zero and a Lee Sin, and if it's not broken, don't. You know what I'm saying? On the other side, though, I wanted to touch a little bit about the fact of the first rotation Janna Nunu. So what this kind of tells me is that they're setting up for SMLZ. So we talked about how Uzi has the highest gold intake for his team. SMLZ has the highest gold intake for his team. You'd think it'd be Dade, but no, it's actually for SMLZ, and there we go. The hyper-scaling Tristana. So what I was referring to is the fact that Janna, Nunu working together, they're a very zone control type of composition. And if you want to think about super old school Janna when her Monsoon used to have the slow, it's effectively the same thing combined with Nunu. She pushes everyone out, resets the fight. You can't get back in because you have to go through an absolute 0.
Yeah, so this should be a very entertaining team fight out of Masters as they're opting for a very scary team. Cool opting for Varus, and that's going to be Shui on Lee Sin.
Going back to
once
the comfort.
again. Exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So now the option is Dade going to go for Cassiopeia or is he going to go for Azir? Now the thing about Varus is that he is,
Oh, man.
Okay, I was just about to talk about this. So the thing about taking Azir into Varus is incredibly punishing because Azir is all about his range. The fact that he can get his Sand Soldier so far out in front of him that you just can't approach him. He's just going to continuously snipe you with the arrow. So the question was, why aren't people like Rookie and Dade, very famous Yasuo players, playing Yasuo against Varus? They're pretty, or Zed.
Also works.
I mean, it's just an assassin. Yasuo works well. It is going to be the Zed lock-in. Of course, Dade famous for his Zed play, but it's an AD carry. Just assassinate him.
This is going to be very exciting. Dade getting that very scary Zed onto a squishy OMG's cool Varus. And it looks like it's going to be a very exciting matchup once again. OMG with the exact same team composition except for swapping out Varus for Azir on the other side. Masters going for a very scary team fight. We're going to kill you team comp.
Yeah, and what I also want to talk about is it still goes back to the fact that this composition is really about SMLZ and Dade kind of doing his own thing. When Masters 3 finds success, it's because Dottie really isn't, I mean, he goes off, but it's hard to, how to explain it. Dottie will go for a split push because anytime Zed is introduced into a composition, it becomes very easy to do a 1-3-1 just because of his mobility. When he gets the Blade of the Ruin King, he can assassinate anyone. And so it just allows Dottie to kind of play independently of the team and to be that big, scary, mechanical god that we know he has the skill ceiling to be. But on the other side, because he is Zed, he's so self-sufficient with his shadow, that means that none of the peels should be used to help protect Dottie, to help him get on and do his job onto the backline. It can all be given to SMLZ on that Tristana.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how those team fights play out, as we're going to have some very impressive zoning come out of Master in order to protect that late game hyper carry Tristana with 3 zoning ultimates. And on the other hand, you've got Dade on that Zed for pure assassination. And, of course, OMG, on the other hand, going for the exact same team composition for similar lanes. We'll have to see how it works as we're getting right into game. Alrighty, we're right back onto the Rift. We've already got the first damage being dealt as Cool and Dade trade a few blows in the mid lane. It's OMG versus Master, with OMG taking game number 1 and Master looking for redemption against OMG in this game 2.
I hope you're ready to talk about Varus mid.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so how this Varus mid has really been working, think of it almost like a pseudo Nidalee or a pseudo Xerath. It's all about the poke and about building CDR. So you're going to see Ghostblade, you're going to see... hold on, you're going to see Love CD take a lot of damage. You're going to see Last Whisper, and it's just about empowering Varus's Q and then spamming that continuously. So it's going to do absurd damage, can clear through creep lines as well as impact whoever's standing behind it. So Dottie's going to have a bit of a rough go, especially early levels, since he is facing off against a ranged opponent. We'll see if Cool's able to apply pressure early to keep and pick Dottie down so he can't all in once he has the ultimate available to him. But if Dottie's able to survive that early level, get to his point where he can just jump on top of Xerath, Cool effectively has 0 resources to stop that from happening and to get away from him. Varus is a very immobile ADC, a little bit safer since he is on the mid lane. It's the shortest of all of the lanes, so his flash is going to count more there. And this is why you see Cool opting to take that exhaust.
Yeah, the exhaust to try to deny the kill potential from Dade once he manages to get a little bit scarier. Condi starting off with the blue first, and it is going to be the lane swap out of Masters as they match Uzi in the top lane. Deep Ward from Amazing is going to watch for any sort of defensive ganks, and SMLZ already putting out some pressure. Xiang and Shui going for the invade are going to steal away the red buff. This could be a bit scary from M3's duo lane in the top here, but it looks like instead Shui and Xiang up for the Raptor camp second. Whoa, the hook lands! SMLZ takes some damage. Ooh, amazing. Already turning up the heat.
I want to quickly touch about Condi right now because he actually made a very cheeky and kind of cute maneuver walking in and taking Lee Sin's blue buff. That said, it looks like Shui is going to respond appropriately and walk across the river and do more of a vertical jungle as opposed to not starting that side. So
yeah, Xiang did teleport bottom to match Looper on the bottom side of the map, and with Condi going for the invade, he is going to steal away the red, but we're in a similar situation that we saw in last game. It's Uzi and Amazing on the exact same team comp with Nautilus Corki, putting pressure onto SMLZ and Love CD.
And this is going to be pretty rough for Tristana early now. The thing about new Tristana is she has a lot more pushing potential against towers just because her satchel can stack and burst some extra damage. It really comes down to anytime John is in a lane, and especially because he just used it defensively, how the Eye of the Storm, John's E, her shield is used. If it's used defensively to absorb spells like the Phosphorus Bomb in that case, then you don't really get a lot out of it. You're just going to kind of sit there and get pushed under your tower. It's about making sure that you can get control of the wave, push it forward, and use that shield offensively.
And that's what we're starting to see. We did just have Cool burn his flash to get out of the flank from Condi, who just left by exiting the red side jungle of OMG. So with that flash down, this is actually a pretty healthy window for Dade to get nice and aggressive. Zed players love it when somebody blows their flash before they have to do anything to get involved. So this should be pretty exciting to see how that works. On the bottom, it's Xiang and Looper going to town. Shui actually looking for a potential gank in the top. Didn't work out so well in the first game, but we'll see how it is this time. There's a big wave building, and Masters want to follow it.
Amazing does have a decent angle on a dredge line here, which is why, there he goes.
When he lands it, Shui immediately follows up, doesn't land the Sonic Wave as it's a flash burn from Love CD and heal burned by SMLZ.
So obviously OMG are going to come out on top because they got more summoners out of that. The Ignite was also burned from Amazing, but worth a flash and a heal, take it anytime.
Yeah, definitely a very solid trade for OMG, especially when that lane includes Uzi. I hear he's a pretty good AD carry.
Maybe.
Yeah, the kind of guy who can capitalize on your support not having flash. Just might be.
I wanted to say something sarcastically about, well, you know, he's never made a world championship, so we don't know yet, but
that's harsh.
Sometimes people can't read my sarcasm.
Yeah, this year is the year. We'll have to keep an eye on whether or not that works out. And
third time's the charm.
Yeah, already we can see some aggression going down. Dade, that was a very bold move for a creep. Forced to burn his Living Shadow. Oh, he had Condi waiting in the wing, so he was feeling confident.
It's all about the flash snowball.
Yep.
I mean, Cool's obviously afraid of it. He already flashed.
Or the flash pat on the back. That's one of my favorite.
My favorite is what I'm going to call it the speed bump from Clear Love, when he flashes in front of everyone and he uses his absolute zero to stop them from advancing in the opposite direction, otherwise known as running away. School traffic Nunu. It should be a skin.
Yeah, he's got a big sign that says, "Stop slow children to play." All right, so continued harass going down in the mid lane, or that's the top lane. Recall from Cool is going to opt for a tier first, so no raw stats in that lane just yet.
Let's talk about the power points for both these compositions. So we already kind of covered that Master Slayer running a Protect the AD composition, the fact that, yes, they do have an assassin on their team. He's going to take some damage there, but he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
They do have an assassin on their team, and it's really important. A lot of people in Protect the ADC comps, they want to be like, why isn't it an Orianna mid lane? You're just going to have your shield. You're going to give your AD carry even that much more. I still would prefer an assassin just because, again, then you don't have to give any of your peel to Dade. He can do his own thing, be his own man, especially as Shui kind of catching up on this dragon.
Yeah, going for a bit of a solo dragon, but he's spotted out. SMLZ and Love CD awful low. Gotta play it a bit defensive as Uzi getting some more damage. And as you mentioned in game number 1, punishing SMLZ and Love CD for every creep they take. He's playing really far forward. He's got flash, but no heal.
Uzi will always be far forward. Doesn't matter if he's on Vayne.
Whoa, the hook finds Love CD. He doesn't have flash. This could be first blood. The shield keeps him alive. Teleport on the backside. It is first blood picked up by Uzi. OMG goes low. The teleport comes across. It's 2 kills for M3 as Looper joins the fight.
A little bit of a miscommunication right there. Juggling the tower aggro. Amazing step forward, and Uzi just couldn't get it. A nice flash from SMLZ to cross the distance, so it takes the tower down.
Yeah, that's Uzi picking up first blood, but it's traded back as SMLZ gets that kill and an assist, and Looper, very important member for M3's composition, also is going to get a kill of his own as he builds toward that Haunting Guise. Teleport being used to match Looper on the top side as Xiong goes to head on out there. And things settling down just a bit.
What's beautiful about this is both teams are taking this opportunity to reset the lane swap and move numbers advantage back to the bottom side of the map. So what they're doing here is, hey, we both died, everyone's down, let's just immediately walk down to the bottom side because now it's about playing around this dragon. We need to make sure that we have our numbers advantage here.
Ooh, scary position for Love CD. He's going to walk right around the corner into Amazing, takes a hook to the face. Knockup is not going to be enough to keep him alive. He doesn't even have his flash yet, guys. Running towards his own blue. And he goes down. It's Shui who gets the kill.
And effectively, that was really predictable from Love CD. So you have to think, it's the first back that the support had available. What's he going to do? He's going to place deep wards. What's the objective that's important? It's Dragon. Hey, you know what? I bet this guy's going to be right on the Dragon pit.
And that's another kill for OMG as Shui looking very strong on that Lee Sin once again. Interestingly enough, opting for a longsword instead of going straight into it. Xiong going for a roam onto Dade. Chain of Corruption locks him down, doesn't have his shadow anymore. He turns onto Xiong. He's at super low health, but the death mark goes, plus the ignite tick. Is he going to get it? No.
Wow.
Xiong still alive. Condi going in 1v3 here, trying to get the kill. Flashes aggressively and doesn't find it.
So close right there. I want to talk about the dodge that Dade did with his shadow. Hold on. Nope, they're fine in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
He dodged the Varus W to proc. I'm forgetting what it's called. His blood stacks, so he gets extra damage. Come on, play-by-play caster. Is that what it is?
I do not know.
He does the extra magic damage. Anyway, Dade dodged it with a really nice place shadow. Almost traded 1-for-1. Didn't quite get it, but that said he escaped with his life. Maybe not this time, though.
Here's Dade. Yeah, Shui going for the invade. Finds another kill. Cool tanking the turret for his jungler. You do have a bit of a roam coming out from Looper. He's got flash, but no.
Never mind. I don't want any of that.
Out. Yeah.
He's just going for a stroll.
Yeah. Nice leisurely walk through the river. He's got his jean leggings rolled up to his thighs so he can walk through the water. Bit of harass from OMG as they find SMLZ, and the punishment continues. SMLZ are doing a good job of keeping up in farm, but Uzi are not going to let him take a single creep unpunished.
Varus's build, the classic Muramana into Last Whisper. It's very reminiscent of the Jace build, the Brutalizer Muramana into Last Whisper. The burst damage is just absurd. And again, it's about, on Jace, it's about empowering his Q. On Varus, exact same thing.
Well, and the auto attacks, because Varus is an AD carry.
It helps, but it's more just about, you know, kind of standing back and, look, I'm Nidalee, but I can go through creeps. Yeah,
speaking of standing back and hammering through creeps, cool. Now getting a blue buff, so he's going to be going for continued harass. Dade getting a blue buff of his own. His death mark is off of cooldown. He doesn't have a brutalizer just yet, but he's got some pretty scary damage. Now's the time when Zed has hit that I'm going to kill you power spike.
He does have his Cutlass active available, and obviously that's a big power spike for Zed just because the added damage will help his death mark proc even more damage when he decides to use that. Should wait for the ignite, however, so we'll see as soon as that ignites off cooldown if he attempts for another all-in.
Yeah, so far it looks like Dade is playing it safe, getting some zoning now onto Cool, but he spots it out. There's the aggression as he continues to zone Cool away. Shui at his red buff. So Cool feels reasonably safe as the wave is shoved under the turret. Now things feeling pretty good so far. Dade actually has a CS lead. Despite that, that is to be expected as he is very scary in lane, and it's Dade.
Well, it's also very appropriate of Cool because he doesn't have his exhaust available for him, so he has to be very conscious of the death mark damage that can come out. Now, I wanted to talk about the power spike. We didn't get to this before. The power spike of OMG's composition. It's very mid-game oriented for these AD carries. I mean, effectively, you're waiting for Varus to get 2 items, his penetration as well as his Muramana. When he finds a stack, of course, it's going to be nice there. No.
They just saw Love CD throw down the Monsoon, and instantly Shui shows up for a dive. Love CD has his flash. He is going to be locked down, though. Uzi looking for the dive. Will he follow the Sonic Wave? He's Lee Sin. He has to do it. A double kill for Shui.
Killed him with the burn. I mean, he could have, he did the auto attack, but he could have just let the red buff do it. Hashtag swag.
It feels better.
It's like when you put on the sunglasses. I would say put on sunglasses, but he's Lee Sin. He's blind anyway.
Well, that just makes it all that more intimidating.
He should have just walked away.
Yeah, a bit of pressure going down in the mid lane. Dade with an untimely recall. Unfortunately, takes a lot of turret damage. OMG doing very strong this game. Shui is coming up really big on Lee Sin. 4-0-1, again, with all of his attention turned to the bottom lane. He hasn't looked to Xiong once this game.
I mean, there's really no reason to. It's not that, I mean, we talked about this before. Maokai and Lee Sin, they do have great synergy in their ganks just because, again, the Twisted Advance is going to give a free Sonic Wave, so it's free, easy damage into that lane. But this team is all about Uzi. The teleport's going to be used bottom lane. All of the jungle pressure is going to be given to him. Give him the resources, and he shows time and time again, I can show up. I can carry this team.
Yeah, Uzi looking to carry once again. He's 10 CS up and SMLZ now. Dragon still on the map, has not been attempted by either team. Some pressure comes out from Amazing. The hook isn't able to catch SMLZ in mid-air. He does get a style bomb onto Amazing, though, but goes right back to farming. And Uzi looking for those power spikes once again. You've got Kandi waiting in the wings, Shui doing the same, but after no commitments, both of the junglers back away.
So OMG, their composition is more oriented towards siege and poke. You have to think if the Varus is spamming his Qs, if Uzi's throwing down his rocket, it's very scary to be under a tower. That said, Love CD tied up. Looks like
just a bit of harass. He is going to get the knock-up. Shui should be out of range for the Sonic Wave. Yeah, SMLZ walks away. Nice and casual-like. And Xiong is shoved out by Dade. He did burn his death mark very recently, so Xiong has his teleport, could be opting for a recall. Seeing Dade in the top, OMG collapse onto the dragon. They're going to be able to take this uncontested.
Pretty much a textbook response like there. You got it absolutely right. The fact that they saw that more resources from Masters 3 had been expended to the top lane. Dade walking up there gave him the free dragon, knowing that they had the numbers advantage on that side of the map, of course, because Cool was still in his lane. He's little Varus. He can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
No shirt, no service.
Well, does he have shoes?
No. I don't think those actually qualify for pants either.
Huh. Well, that's odd. OMG now continuing to play the composition that they have set for themselves. Some aggression as Dade does drop the Deathmark Exhaust, trying to deny some of his damage. Very timely, completely negating all of that Deathmark damage. Dade jumps back, Shui with the counter gank. He is going to flash knock Dade right back in. He's like, you know what, if I'm going to die, I might as well auto-attack you once. He gets out of there. They're going to trade over for Xiong in the top lane, however.
Dade is just not...
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's pretty much a 2v1. I'm not going to give him that much. The nice thing, though, is that Exhaust has a longer cooldown than Dade's ultimate is, so Cool has to be very aware of that, make sure that he keeps a good timer on Deathmark, because, again, at any point, Dade really can walk to this Varus if he doesn't have the defensive summoner available to him, and either force him out of lane or just pop him like a balloon. So the question now becomes, as these towers go down, as the map begins to open up, and we transition more into Love CD getting caught. Yeah,
Love CD taking some damage. The hook threads the needle. Love CD forced to burn Monsoon.
Teleport.
But guess who's coming in from behind? It's Shui. Doesn't even care that there's a turret there anymore. No, in fact, that turret has fallen. Double teleport coming in as both Xiong and Looper have joined the battle. Equalizer is dropped, but OMG are diving regardless. So much damage is coming across. They have to respect Looper as he burns that tree to the ground. Xiong falls, and it's 1 for 1. 2 for 1. 1 for 1.
It's 1 for 1. Not terrible. That said, Uzi still relatively full health. They're going to try to continue to push onto this tower. Cool is down there, but as is Dade, and Dade almost has the Deathmark available. Cool does not have the Exhaust.
Oh, he drops the ward, immediately jumps the wall. Cool, is he going to land the Chain of Corruption? He doesn't have it yet. Dade, oh man, that's so painful. He has got no way to traverse the wall, no form of vision. And Cool gets away, burning only his flash.
And naturally, because he used the shadow over the wall, he couldn't follow, but gets the free flash from Cool. And again, that's both now defensive summoners down for Varus. Third time's the charm, and Dade's looking for it. Will have the Deathmark available.
Hasn't worked out so far just yet. 0-2, and he's down in CS. Meanwhile, Uzi, we talked about him being the big carry for OMG. Seems like this time he's taken a back seat to the pressure from Shui, who even opt for Warriors Enchant on that Chilling Smite.
Well, he also then went to the side stone, so he's like, I'm going to be the carry. Never mind, I'm going to ward.
Oh, man, Dade. Chain of Corruption comes down. He is destroyed by Cool. 0-3 right now. Condi gets caught out. Dragon Rage kicks him to safety. And Shui says, you know what? We killed Zed. We don't need any more kills. Get out of here, Nunu.
Now it's about placing your deep vision and what tower they're going to prioritize. Obviously, the easiest objective for OMG to take on the map would be either the bottom or the top tier tower. Looks like it is going to be the bottom one.
Yeah, there is no Monsoon, in fact. SMLZ taking damage from Shui and is destroyed as Amazing literally standing there and taking the turret. Cool flanks from the backside. Kill secured as he kills Love CD as well. OMG are playing this so textbook.
Miscommunication from Masters 3. It was fairly obvious that OMG were there. They were spotted out perfectly by the fact that they had just been on that ramp. So it's, oh, where are they going to go? I bet they're going to come from this tower. We better stand on it and just wait for our demise. And
yeah,
you just pointed out all of the vision on the bottom side of the map. OMG have full run of that bottom side jungle. They're going to continue to play that bot side. There goes the tower.
Yeah, finally that tier 1 goes down, but OMG taking that turret with complete impunity, puts them now 2-1 in turrets, up 7 kills, playing very, very confidently. And again, this is the same thing that we saw from Masters in Game 1. They just aren't respecting OMG. They're not responding to rotations in time, they're not reacting to lanes, they're not reacting to roams, and it's punishing them.
That said, I want to give a bit of a compliment to OMG. We talked about how they played around Uzi in last game. This game, it's been more about Cool. I mean, yes, it's Shui really showing up on his Lee Sin and being that dominating force, but it's primarily been in the mid lane through counter ganks or 2v1s against Dade. And so the fact that you do have these two amazing carries, you have pretty much the best Chinese mid laner for a very long time. Cool had a fantastic reputation off of his Season 3 Worlds performance. We talked about how he was benched because of an eye injury, and he's slowly been kind of ramping back up into form that we kind of expect from Cool, or that the fans really expect from Cool. To see him go off on this Varus, especially in a very difficult matchup, Dade finally being the guy to step up to this Varus mid craze. Oh, hold on.
Dive coming out for Looper. He's the sole hope for Masters with all 3 of those kills, but you know how many members it takes to kill someone with 3 kills? It's 3. They get another kill for OMG.
But again, Masters 3 kind of caught out in a position that was fairly obvious. They took all Dade.
Dade fine. Shui dodges the Sonic Wave. Deathmark isn't enough. Shui gets out alive, and Dade
now forced
to run away from Amazing. The hook comes out, but Dade dodges it.
Pretty cute.
Yeah, gets out of there. He almost got all of that juicy shutdown gold. Didn't quite, though.
I mean, effectively, it was Shui was like, nah, maybe not. I don't want this 1v1, pushes him away. And Dada just, okay, that's fine.
It's like, all right, I concede. It's a gentleman's agreement. Now we've got Amazing once again looking for some aggression in the bottom. Retreat ping. Ooh, almost finds SMLZ.
But again, the fact that Masters 3 Looper was caught out on that tower in the top lane before we had the fight go down in mid, that was the last standing top-tier tower, so it was the easiest objective for OMG to siege. So naturally, they are a very structural-oriented team. They would rotate top to it. Masters 3 just frankly have been playing a very reactionary game and are too slow.
Yeah, and now with all three of those turrets down, Dragon has respawned. Kandi's in the area, but he's got no backup from SMLZ. He's got no backup from Dade. He decides to let OMG secure that. It's their second Dragon to the game, 20 minutes in. OMG looking very strong with a 5,000 gold lead, complete control over the map as their ward lines continue to creep further and further forward. They're now looking for this mid-tier 2 turret with 4 members of the team. 5 now as Xiong joins them. And Masters, the only person they've got defending it. There we go. Finally, Dade gets there with Kandi and Love CD.
OMG have so many options right now. If they want to attempt to go for a dive, I wouldn't suggest it just because it's very scary to dive into a new Janna. That said, they do have the Maokai as well as the gold lead. Okay. They can either go for a dive, they can attempt to siege on this tower because they have insane poke. That said, if you look to the top side of the jungle, again, Dragon's down, so they have a 6-minute window to play to the opposite side of the map. That is completely lit up with wards. There are, oh, one just died. There are 4 wards there. I was going to say 5.
They've got a lot of vision up there, and something that I do want to point out is Masters, all 5 of them are here trying to defend this. We talked a lot about the zone control when it would come to those team fights with the Nunu, with the Rumble Equalizer, but they don't want to take this fight. OMG get onto the turret and knock it down right quick. Masters back away.
The threat of the rocket and of the Varus Q is just too much to sit there and just continuously get whittled down. Likewise, OMG have also set up their top wave. So that will slowly start building. So a lot of options for them.
Yeah, things really looking to be in OMG's favor. They're going to clear out Scuttle now and prune that wave on the bottom side of the map. Looper headed up there. He's got Dade and SMLZ on that side of the jungle. Looper really has been the sole hope this time around on Rumble. He's playing pretty well with his 3 kills, and he's got a lot of damage with the Zhonya's and that haunting guys, but he just hasn't been able to find any solid team fights as OMG have been rotating and skirmishing so much faster than Masters can respond. And
I really like that you bring up the fact that OMG haven't really given Masters the ability to use that equalizer in a 5v5 because it has been skirmish, it has been rotations, and it has been picks. And this is the weird thing about OMG. Their vision previously was very lacking, and of course, as I say this, the entire map is now dark. But I assure you, there were wards there just a moment ago. We talked about how their ward lines were creeping forward, and this is pretty a new development in OMG's maturing vision style. And so again, does it go back to the fact that they're defining themselves and going back, we're going to be a team about Uzi despite the fact that they are playing around cool this game. But this is our direction. We have 1 shot caller now. There's not too many cooks in the kitchen.
Ooh, flash chain of corruption. Whoa, SMLZ is going to dodge it. That's going to be 3 flashes burned in the span of 2 seconds. As OMG want to fight, but they can't quite take it. Dade going for a split push in the bottom is going to put him on that tier 1 with no one there to defend it. Has not even finished his Blade of the Ruined King just yet.
23 minutes in.
Yeah, shows himself bottom. Where do OMG go? To the Baron.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Dade's build really delayed the Blade of the Ruined King, and that's a very important item to allow him to split push because he can then assassinate any target. I mean, effectively, you can do it anyway, but...
Yeah, a bit of a gamble as Looper waiting in position, looking for that perfect equalizer, drop it on the entrance to the pit, and just wreak havoc as Master are all on the backside. Are they going to go for the steal? There's the equalizer, and that's Kandi knocked out of the pit. It is going to be secured by OMG, and Xiong decides he wants a fight as the equalizer was expended in the Baron pit. There's not enough damage. SMLZ doing what he can, but he just can't follow it up. Uzi is going to pick up Kandi. Love CD distracts 3 members, but they lose the Baron and Kandi.
Both times, Uzi has been the secure of that Baron. Shui missed his smite in the previous game and in this one. That's very scary when it's a new consume smite standing on the back half of that. That said, they secure the Baron, and of course, it's a very easy decision to then say we're going to engage, knowing that it's a 4v5.
Oh, Uzi almost able to kill Love CD on the backside of the fight, but Monsoon keeps him standing, and Dade does not knock down that bottom tier 2 as he runs for his life away from Xiong, who decides to let him go. Yeah, could have tossed the sapling in the bush if he thought Dade was still there, but decided instead he's going to push the minion wave and get that shove, because the next step for OMG is going to be start looking at some of those remaining tier 2s and shortly thereafter the inhibitors.
Not quite sure what the decision-making was for Masters 3 right there to let OMG effectively have a free Baron.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only really worth if you're trading an inhibitor for a Baron, because then you can equalize it, because effectively the Baron needs to respond to the pressure that you would create with the super minions. Dade only got a single tower for a Baron and some change kills for OMG.
Yeah, really sort of interesting shot calling coming out of Master with that.
Cute.
Yeah, unique, one might even say.
That's a very unique decision.
OMG setting up a rotation on the bottom. Xiong with that minion wave fully pruned away from Dade's fingers. He's going to push it forward with the rest of OMG and get onto the tier 2. No one's there to defend it, and the tier 2 falls.
Dade finally completed his first item, has the Last Whisper available.
He finally is going to be able to start shredding through some of the armor of those very squishy AD carries, all 2 of them. Hasn't been able to just yet. The siege continues as they get onto the inhibitor turret. They're going to continue trying to burst it down. 280 carries are doing a lot more damage than expected. The equalizer goes down, but they're not fighting on top of it. They destroy Kandi. Dade falls. Love CD falls. This is an absolute massacre as OMG are just shoving further and further forward.
Not much to say there. I mean, frankly, Masters 3 are just so far behind. They're fighting on split fronts. Despite the fact that all 10 members are in the same area, the damage, the cohesion just isn't there. They're not following up on their CC. They're not following up on their equalizers. They're too far behind. Dade tried to dive the back line to no avail. Cool survived. Finally went down at the very end there, but it wasn't Dade that took him down. And just a clean 2-0 from OMG. That said, quite a big difference because they've been splitting every single series, so finally, 3 points.
Yeah, OMG taking some much-needed points from Masters off of that with that 2-0. A very, very exceptional game out of OMG as they showed a style that's a bit new for them. Cool being the primary carry, and Shui Shui backing up Cool more than he's backing up Uzi.
More so Shui Shui having a fantastic performance in this set, pulling out the Lee Sin, which... I mean, it's kind of atypical because really the 3 junglers that we've seen are going to be Sejuani, Rek'Sai, and Gragas. So the fact that he can go back to that Lee Sin, that he can make an impact on the map, it's a little bit reminiscent of Loveling.
Yeah, it is a little exciting, and it's curious to see how that style seems to follow OMG wherever they go. But that's OMG now 6-0 over Master in the grand history of their play record. 2-0 in this series individually. That gives them 3 whopping points. Now we've got a very exciting match coming up after this. It's going to be World Elite versus Vici Gaming. Don't go anywhere.